What's up guys? Today I've got my hands on a brand new Windows gaming handheld. So this is the AOKZOE A1X, featuring powerful specifications capable of playing the latest AAA PC games at very decent frame rates. And I can't wait to show you what this thing can do. So just roll the intro. Alright, now first of all, let me show you what you get inside the box. Okay, so you get a small envelope with instructions, a braided Type-C to Type-C charging cable, a 100-watt USB-C GAN charger. So nice to have the fast charger included in the box. And last but certainly not least, the handheld itself. So here it is guys, the AOKZOE A1X. So let's quickly run through the specs. So you're looking at a very nice 8-inch LTPS 120Hz display, which supports variable refresh rate. Screen resolution is 1920 by 1200 with 100% sRGB color space, and the screen offers up to 500 nits of peak brightness. The A1X is powered by the AMD Ryzen HX370 with 12 cores, 24 threads, and it's a 4nm APU clocked at 2 GHz base and up to 5.1 GHz turbo, and you have the integrated AMD 890M graphics. Furthermore, you have a choice between 32 or 64 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM, and the storage choices are 1TB or 2TB options. And this uses a 2280 Gen 4 M.2 NVMe SSD. And on my desk I have here the 32 plus 1TB variant. The A1X handheld also benefits from microSD expansion, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.2. This has a rather generous 72.7 watt-hour battery, which translates to a battery capacity of 18,800 milliamp hours and supports 100-watt fast charging. Also, this comes pre-installed with Windows 11 Home activated and ready to use. Alright, now let's talk design. We've got custom LED lights on the front of the hand grips. Ergonomics are noticeably improved over the previous generation models. You can see bigger hand grips for added comfort and a very nice soft touch finish to it. At the back of the unit you can see a large air intake, and at the top there is an exhaust to dissipate that hot air. You do have quite an advanced multi-cooling system consisting of cooling fan, dual heat pipes, the exhaust, and lots more. Now the controller layout is the Xbox style, so we have the XYBA buttons, and you have dual capacitive joysticks with a 900Hz polling rate. The D-pad has also been upgraded and it feels pretty nice, and I'll show you that in action a little bit later in the video. You also got a start button, back button, a keyboard key which brings up the on-screen keyboard, and a turbo key, and every time you press it, it will bring up the 1X console control center overlay. And on the far left you have the show desktop key. Up on top we have a USB 3 port, Type-C charging port, headphone jack, volume rocker and power button. We have our two trigger buttons, LT and RT, and then we have two shoulder buttons, LB and RB. At the bottom of the unit we have another USB 4 port, Oculink port and a microSD card slot. And the speaker grills are located at the top of the unit towards the bottom. It's now gaming time. It's time to test a whole bunch of games that I've already downloaded on this, and most of them have been downloaded through Steam. And for each game that I play, I will show you what you can expect from various graphic and TDP settings. So we are going to try and push this little handheld in order to test the performance to see what it can handle. So we are playing GTA 5 enhanced version, and I've got the graphics maxed out, 1080p, 120Hz, and I've got it on enhanced maximum RT. You can see it's playing barely 12 frames per second. So this is too much for this. And you can see we've set on the highest TDP. So we're going to high with ray tracing off. So achieving around 44 frames per second on high graphics. Okay, so with the graphics set at 1080p, 60 Hz, you can see we're achieving nearly 100 frames per second. Okay, this is with the graphics set to minimum. We've got ray tracing off, 1080p, 60 Hz. Alright, so check out the frame rate, 60 frames per second, 1080p resolution, 60 Hz, and the graphics are set to high. So that is more than playable. Alright, so now we're playing WWE 2K25, 1080p resolution, and I've got the graphics completely maxed out. And you can see we're achieving a comfortable 60 frames per second. So WWE 2K25 playing very well on this handheld. Assassin's Creed Mirage playing very well, achieving close to 60 frames per second. It does dip down slightly to about 50, but overall it's playing well. Very smooth gameplay. And this is on medium graphics, so if I was to increase the graphics, that frame rate's going to drop down. And I'm going to try and do that. Okay, we're going to try the high preset, see what happens. And bumping the graphics preset up to high gives us close to 50 frames per second. So it's still very decent frame rates, and the game looks even better. So this is at maximum TDP of 30 watts. If I was to drop down the TDP to 20 watts, you'll see what happens in real time. You'll see that frame rate drop down slightly. So I actually dropped the TDP down to 20 watts and we're still achieving the same frame rate. Let's drop it down again. So I'm going to drop it down to 15 watts. So the TDP's dropped down to 15 watts to see what happens to that frame rate. So we're still achieving above 40 frames per second at 15 watt TDP. That's half the TDP. And still very good performance. Alright, we're going to take it down further. 10 watts might be the minimum we can handle here. So this is at 10 watts. And you can still see we're playing at 30 frames per second. The game is still more than playable. Amazing. And just for fun, let's put the TDP down to 4 watts. And then I know the game is not going to be playable. So this is 4 watts TDP. The frame rate is dropped down to around 15 frames per second. To me, that's not really playable. But just wanted to show you what would happen. That will give you the highest battery efficiency for this game, or this type of game. Next game, Call of Duty Cold War. We've got the texture preset and graphics preset set to high and ultra, and resolution is 1080p at 120 Hz. Let's see how it plays. Okay, so we're about to play Undisputed Boxing. Resolution is set to 1080p, and I've got the graphics preset set to ultra. So the graphics are maxed out. Let's see how it plays.
Straight right, just misses.
Alright, so we're playing Undisputed on the highest graphics. So the graphics are maxed out to ultra, 1080p resolution. And you can see we're achieving around 42 frames per second average. So I'm switching the graphics preset to medium. The frame rate has boosted up to around 54 frames per second. And the game still looks and plays really well, as you can see. Now, I'm going to drop the TDP down to about 20 watts. So yeah, it's still playing really well, 45 frames per second. And the game still looks and plays good with medium graphic settings, 1080p resolution, and the TDP at 20 watts. Let's see how far we can take it. Let's go to 10 watts. Okay, so there's 10 watt TDP. And you can see it's a bit slow motion now. 23 frames per second is not ideal. The minimum I would consider is 30. Let's pause it and let's take it just in between. 13 watt TDP. That should boost it up to about 30. That's playable at medium graphics. Just a quick experiment. The graphics preset is now to its lowest. I want to see if I can drop it down to 10 watts now. Just to see if we can make the most of the battery life and performance while playing a game like Undisputed. So 30 frames per second at 10 watts, lowest graphics, 1080p. And it's pretty much playable.
So there you have it, guys. That was the AOKZOE A1X. And here are my thoughts. Design and ergonomics are great. This feels nice in the hands. 120Hz display offers decent colors and brightness and offers a pretty nice gaming experience. Having those extra USB 4 ports and a full-size USB 3 port is very useful, and the bonus is the OcuLink port, and the microSD expansion is also nice to have. This does support Type-C display out, and it works great, so you can even hook up an external game controller and play on a big screen, giving you a console-like experience. You can hook up a keyboard and mouse and you have yourself a main PC, which lets you game, edit content, browse the web or stream videos online. This is basically a powerful PC which you can take with you anywhere you like. Quick mention of the dual stereo speakers. They do get pretty loud and the quality is also very good, with no distortion even at the maximum volume. Battery life is around 3 hours playing AAA games like Cyberpunk at 15 watts. If you played something less graphically intense like Hades 2, you could play that game at 4 watts and the battery can last around 8 hours. So it really depends what you're playing and how high you set the TDP. It's nice to get a 100 watt GAN fast charger included in the box, and it does charge up pretty quick. I did not experience any overheating issues. This was a prototype unit, but I experienced no instabilities, no crashes. It was a smooth, powerful, handheld gaming experience. Now, this played nearly all the big games at 1080p, medium to high graphics, and still achieving around 60 frames per second average. So the Ryzen HX370 is a powerful APU and the best performance we have seen so far in these type of Windows handhelds. Now, with all of that being said, do consider subbing to the channel for your daily dose of the latest and greatest unbiased tech reviews, and do leave a like and comment, as it's always nice to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.